We are going to do some basic configuration after you have established your gradebook and imported your proper columns from the template. Some of the basic configuration: sign into your gradebook, and I am going to work with gradebook configuration, and I want to select the class Trig Pre-Calc. Some of the things that you will need to decide on for yourself is, first of all, the category or the group name called averages must remain there because that is what will figure your semester grade. From that point, depending on how you want to do your grading, you can add and subtract groups as you need fit. To add a group, I believe all you have to do is come up here to the little G, add a group, give it a name. So if I wanted to add quizzes, I can give it a weight at this time, or I can change it at any time. But if I wanted it to be 20% of my grades, then I would put in a 20, probably leave the default value at 100, submit it. It will be added here alphabetically, and over here it means that it's going to be worth 20% of your grade. The numbers over here, depending on how you are setting up your grade book, have to add up to 100. So if all I was using was daily, quizzes, and tests, these should probably add up to 100%, which right now they do not, which means that I would probably have to change one of these, and I can just change it by clicking on it, and I could change it to 65, and it will automatically mean that all my daily grades will be 65%, my quizzes will be 20%, my tests that I give, the average from that will be 15%. The default value means how many points does this assignment default to. So if all my daily grades, say, were 50-point items, then I would make it a 50 like I have here. If my daily work is graded on percentage, doesn't matter how many points they are, but I wanted this to be always default to, say, 100% or 100 points, all I have to do is change this, and then every time that you add a daily grade, it will default to 100 points. So if I grade it on a percentage scale, that means that this would be worth 100 points, which means that if they scored a 95, I'd put 95 out of 100 when I entered things in my grade book. A couple other things that we need to look at is over here you need to select your mark table. So earlier you imported some, so I could pick between basically Clearwater default or regular orchard. So let's say I wanted to do regular orchard. There are some other things here that, depending on what you are doing and how you grade, you would have to change these. Also down here, the overall column settings can be changed in your configuration, such as if I only wanted the first quarter calculated to be displayed over on the left hand side, I would come over here and pick those particular things, such as replace with first quarter calculated is the easiest way to get that to be changed.